Hi everyone, Richard from MI6 Sweden. In 1962, Harry Saltzman and Albert R. Broccoli produced the very first James Bond cinematic adventure. It was based on Ian Fleming's novel with the same name from 1958. This was Fleming's sixth Bond novel, and not the first one. And it also was not the first choice of the producers. One of the main reasons was budget. Dr. No could be done on a small budget, since this was a bit of a gamble. After all, it starred an unknown bodybuilder, and that only made a few smaller roles before this movie. And Fleming himself didn't like Connery. He wanted David Niven to play Bond. Niven turned the role down, and he said that the role was too physical for him. But Fleming changed his mind after he saw Dr. No for the first time, and even included winks at Connery in his later novels, such as giving Bond a partial Scottish heritage. But now I have talked enough about the movie, so let's go into my collection of things that has with Dr. No, or a Dr. No connection at least. I will start with this one. A picture of a duke, the Duke of Wellington, painted by Francisco Goya. In 1961, this painting was stolen from the British Museum. And in the movie Dr. No, you see Connery, just as he is going to go up the stairs and have dinner with Dr. No, he sees this painting. This was a very famous painting at the time. Everyone knew it. And of course, why wouldn't the supervillain Dr. No have stolen this painting also? Moving on to another painting that I have in my collection. This one that I obtained years ago. The three blind mice, the three hitmen from the beginning of the movie. Also painting. Very nice colors, this one. If I can go like this. And of course, if we go on, of course, an original movie poster from Dr. No. And here we have another poster from Dr. No. And moving on, this is my Swedish movie poster. This one has the Swedish name, Agent 07 med rätt att döda. Agent 007 with license to kill. A bit of a stretch from Dr. No, but Dr. No wouldn't have sold in Sweden. So this is my stolpaffisch, as they call it in Sweden. Very usual at smaller cinemas. Okay, everyone, let's go into the dungeon. Let's open the door here and go into my Bond collection. This is my Bond collection. And I promise you I will go through it as thoroughly as I can. Okay, well, we start here. Sideshow. The name of the company that produces these dolls. We have Sean Connery in great likeness, I think. Really great likeness. With his Walther PPK, of course. And then we have the villain, Joseph Weissman, as Dr. No with his steel hands. This is Miss Tarot, original film cell from Dr. No. Here we have the film cell, and it's just this one as I have printed out here. We have the Chevrolet Bel Air, where Bond gets picked up and the driver tries to kill him. And we have this one is nice. This is Quarrel's stiletto. Almost exact duplicate of the stiletto that Quarrel uses for the first time when he meets Bond and threatens Bond. Of course, this one, you all know, the tarantula that crawls on Bond. Professor Dent fetches this one from Dr. No's island and puts it in Bond's bed. Here we have Felix Leiter's ID, CIA ID. And of course, this is the membership card from Le Circle, where we first meet Bond in the casino. Okay, we go to the next shelf, and there we have Ursula Andress as Honey Rider. This one is from limited exclusives. They were not so exclusive and not so limited, but it's a very nice doll. And here, of course, we have Ursula herself with a shell in her hand, and I have obtained a big shell that's almost an exact replica of the one she uses in the movie. And yes, you can hear the ocean if you put your ear through it. Here we have Corgi icons. Bond, of course, he has lost his plate that he stands on. We have Dr. No, and as I remember, Dr. No's hands isn't black, isn't steel. Corgi, Miss of Corgi, of course, as they painted his hands like hands. And then we have Ursula again with the shell in her hand. Great likeness. The dragon tank that takes Quarrel's life. On the next level we have 3 more Dr. No from limited editions, limited exclusives. Bond, of course, Ursula, Honey Rider, and Dr. No. We have the Sunbeam Alpine, the first Bond car, if you would, the first car that you see Bond drive himself, and he is chased in the mountains by this hearse with the 3 hitmen, the 3 blind mice in. Here you have a signed copy from the film, Sean Connery autograph, authentic autograph. And on the bottom shelf here, as I will show you, we have a receipt from Professor Dent, Strangways, the agent that's killed in the beginning of the movie, has given Dent some rocks that he wanted him to examine, and this is the receipt for the rocks. Here's a photo of Strangways and Quarrel, and this is a replica of the photo that Bond finds and picks up when he visits Strangways' home. And of course, the signature weapon of James Bond 007, the Walther PPK, this one with the silencer. Interesting enough, there isn't this in the movie. Bond never uses a Walther PPK. They couldn't get the Walther PPK. It was a scarce gun, so they had to use a Walther PP instead. The Walther PP has a longer barrel, but the trouble with the Walther PP is that it has trouble fitting the silencer. So they, in the scene where Bond kills Professor Dent, they had to use another weapon, and they film it from the front, so you wouldn't realize that's it. It's a completely different weapon. This happens all through the series. They use weapons that they are not supposed to use. Sometimes it's a Beretta, sometimes it's a Walther, sometimes it's another gun. But this is typical. Okay, that was part of the Dr. No collection. Here we have, up here we have the sideshows figures, of course. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed. This is my second video on this channel, the MI6 Sweden. And next time I will talk about From Russia with Love. Till then, signing off from MI6 Sweden, this is Rickard.